Hello and welcome to Ace Your Exams. These videos are going to be following the AQA A-Level Biology specification, which is available online, but many exam boards are similar. So whether you study specifically AQA or not, I hope you find them useful when learning or revising for A-Level Biology. So this video tutorial is on monomers and polymers, and it's the first in a series of 9 covering the specification point biological molecules, with the others coming shortly. The specification is freely available online. I'll actually leave a link to it below. It's a really useful resource when revising, as it outlines exactly what you're expected to understand and nothing more, nothing less. So whatever your exam board is, I recommend looking at the specification, and especially if you're doing a different exam board, just to highlight to yourself any subtle differences that there may be. But like I said, they should all be pretty similar. So here's an outline of what we'll be covering in today's video. If you're just interested in recapping a specific point, I'll leave timestamps for each subtopic below, so you don't have to listen through the whole video if you don't want to. So let's get on to this video. When you think about all the diversity in life around us currently, such as plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria, it's hard to get your head around just how diverse all these life forms are. So, despite this variety, the biochemical basis of life is all very similar for all living things. So, don't panic, you don't need to know this diagram off by heart by any means, but I just thought it's useful to include here as it shows how all of life descends from one common ancestor. So, this is known as LUCA, or the last universal common ancestor. So, LUCA is the most recent organism which all current life on Earth descends from. So, all living things are made of organic compounds. So, organic compounds are compounds which incorporate carbon to carbon bonds or covalent bonds of carbon with other elements such as hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. There are others that can be associated, such as sulfur, phosphorus, and also halogens, but these are what you need to focus on. There are 4 major categories of biological molecules found in living things that we'll be focused on here, and these are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. So these will be discussed further later on, so don't worry if these diagrams seem daunting. I know I flicked through them quite quick, but I promise you'll understand their structure completely in upcoming videos. So what are monomers and polymers? Monomers can be defined as smaller units that make up a larger molecule called a polymer. Monomers can be described as the basic structural unit from which larger molecules are made. Polymers, on the other hand, are molecules that are comprised of many individual monomers that have all been joined together. They are molecules that are a chain of smaller subunits or monomers. So let's represent this visually. I feel like it's a bit easier that way. So this green circle here represents a single monomer. Now this can be a wide variety of things, which I'll discuss a bit later on, but just for now, it's just to represent a small molecular unit. So now you can see there are many of these monomers which have now been joined together. So this is a polymer. So polymers can either be homogeneous, homo meaning same, such as this one, as all the comprising monomers are all identical. Or polymers can be what's called heterogeneous, so hetero meaning different. Here you can see this is represented with all different coloured circles. So now to briefly discuss some examples. So monosaccharides, amino acids and nucleotides are all examples of monomers. These form polymers of carbohydrates, proteins and nucleic acids respectively. Each of these will be discussed in more detail in later videos. I feel like there's a lot of dusting over things in this video, but what is important is that you understand the concept, and the specifics will be explained later on. Just for now, here's a little table I made. This outlines the biological molecules you need to know. So carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids, and the monomers and polymers that they are made from. So if you're taking notes, I would recommend drawing this out as it's really helpful, or you could even just screenshot this and print it out to stick in to save some time. So now onto a couple of reactions you need to be able to understand. So how are polymers formed from monomers? And then how are these polymers broken back down into their monomers? So first off, there's a reaction we're going to discuss, and it's called a condensation reaction. This reaction joins two molecules together with the formation of a chemical bond and involves the elimination of a molecule of water. So just as an example, here we have two molecules of alpha glucose. Again, don't worry too much about the structure. This molecule will be explained further in future videos, but like I said, the principle of the reaction is what's important, and it's the exact same no matter what. So now if these two molecules were to come together and form a chemical bond, as this is a condensation reaction, a water molecule has to be released. Here you can see two hydrogen molecules and one oxygen molecule have been highlighted. So if you think of the formula of a molecule of water, H2O, you will notice that this here has all the comprising parts, so two hydrogen molecules and one oxygen. So therefore, if this was to be eliminated, you form a covalent bond via the remaining oxygen atom, and a molecule of H2O or water is released. And this is how you'd represent this process. So in this case, a covalent bond formed is known as a glycosidic bond, but don't worry too much about that. That's a topic for another day. So then what about breaking polymers back down into monomers? Hydrolysis reactions break a chemical bond between two molecules, and it involves the use of a water molecule. It's essentially the reverse of a condensation reaction, so it's not too tricky to remember. Here is a molecule of water, so its addition to the covalent bond that we just formed breaks this bond between the monomers. So here you can see the bond has been broken, and the two original separate constituent monomers are seen again that we had originally. Okay, so that is all for monomers and polymers. Here's a little summary slide. All of these points are taken directly from the AQA specification, but I feel like they're the best summary of what you really need to know. So I hope this was useful, and feel free if you have any questions whatsoever, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'd just like to thank you for watching, and hopefully see you again soon in the next video. Bye.